Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. Today we are looking at the Lionsteel LE1. This will be my full review. I don't want to just rehash what we've covered in the first impressions, nor do I want to just tell you a bunch of stuff that you could easily figure out from Google. So where we're going to go, I'll give you a quick rundown of the specs and materials and that, but I'm not going to focus on that. We're just going to go through it quickly. What I want to ask is this usable as an EDC knife, right? If you're, because the fact is most people are only going to carry one knife. And if this is going to be your one knife, well, can it still do all the other stuff that you use your folding knife for? Can it cut up an apple? Can it, open a package, carve wood, whatever else you may think about? All right, so we want to ask that question. We also want to ask, even if you are primarily looking for a defensive option, is this the best bet, or would it be better just to go with like any standard tactical folder or tactical or hard use folder? All right, so that's the main thrust of the video. Let me quickly get into, or just give you a quick rundown on the features and functions and materials here, because we'll want to at least know about that before we get into performance. All right, so quick rundown here. You can see this is I guess maybe you can't see until I turn it over, but you can see this is milled. This handle is milled from one solid billet of aluminum. It's a frame lock with a lock bar insert and a reversible clip and a trapped pivot. So all of that is interesting to know. Again, obviously you could tell just by looking at it. It's a karambit. The blade steel up here is Magna Cut, which is pretty cool. It does have a flipper, opening hole, and Emerson wave feature. Okay. And finally, it's on bearings, so it's going to deploy fairly promptly. The flipper, by the way, is removable. I haven't removed it because I just haven't had reason for that. But if you were to remove it, you could still Spidey flick it, or you could still use that Emerson wave opening feature. And I'll change angles in a second and just give you a quick shot of that coming in. Well, actually, what I'll do is I'll stand up and move and and cut that in after the fact. Just wanted to give you guys a really quick demonstration of how you might deploy this knife from pocket. We talked about everything else but this. So pinky finger is in the ring. I'm going to pull this out, and it does catch pretty well. Okay, but you're going to want to take a little bit of effort to sort of get good at this so you can do it consistently. All right. Okay, so those are the features and the materials. The size on this is 8¼ inches when open. 3 3/16 on the blade, so pretty short blade for the size of the knife. It's 5 5/8 closed. Now that seems really big, but that's because there's this giant ring hanging off the back of the knives here. So obviously, any knife that has this feature on it is going to be larger than it needs to be. That's just by, the nature of the design. So you can't really, this is the blade to handle ratio is going to be a little wonky on this because it's not your standard folding knife that we're generally talking about. 3.5 inches of grip area if you don't use the ring. It's pretty much designed for you to use the ring. And then when you're using that ring with your pinky through here, then you've got lots of space. It's like more like 4.5 inches. All right, so lots of room there. In a saber grip, which is, again, this is what it's designed for. Your thumb nicely lands on that thumb ramp. This is pretty comfortable. If you're doing regular cutting and you want to switch to like a hammer grip, or a saber grip without the ring, or a hammer grip with the ring. Now, a hammer grip with the ring does lose you a bit of leverage. So see how when I make a fist, it pulls the knife, or I guess it pushes the knife up a little bit, and I end up with that bit of a gap. So if I want a lot of leverage and I'm really going to be applying a lot of force, I may want to come up here and be able to do this. If I put my finger in the ring, see how it moves my hand down? Just wanted to show that as we're kind of working through the ergonomics. That may tie a little bit into our question of utility when we get to that point. All right, and finally the weight on this, 4.5 ounces, which is, totally fine. That's more than acceptable. All right, so we got a couple of questions. First of all, can we cut with this thing? And there's lots of paper around. I can show you. Let's just quickly grab a folded piece of paper and show. I've been finding it works pretty good for cutting packages open, just like this, and so that works pretty well. All right. We're not going to spend too much time on that. I do have a couple of other little things here, though, that we might want to try. So here's a piece of cardboard, And can it cut cardboard? Yeah, it cuts it pretty well. Again, if you're opening a box, you might just be doing this kind of thing. And again, yeah, it works fine for that. So that's an example of a couple of the EDC tasks you might get into. Let's grab this piece of wood and just quickly carve on it for a second. Again, this is a really dry hunk of 2x4. And as you can see, it works fine. Now you may want to lay this edge back a little bit. It's not super thin behind the edge and it's a fairly obtuse angle there, but it can definitely do the job if you, I don't know, needed to whittle something out in the woods for some reason. I dare say there would be better options for what you're going to take in the woods. Let's see. And we've got this guy, which is a piece of sort of laminated packing wood, if you will. And again, you can see it cuts. It's not the best thing in the world, but it definitely can do the job that we've asked it to do. So I think simply, asking, can this function? Sorry guys, I knocked the tripod a little bit. Can this function in sort of an EDC capacity? Well, yeah, it can definitely do that without a problem. Is it as comfortable as other knives? And that's where we get into a bit of a hiccup. Okay, so if you're looking at this knife, is this the knife that I would want to carry? Now, beyond the practical purposes, maybe this is the knife I want to carry because I like the MagnaCut steel. Maybe I like the design. Maybe I like the integral handle. Those are subjective things that are a little bit different, okay? But if I'm carrying my knife as a tool, I don't know why I'm having a hard time with the tripod here. It was sitting just perfect 2 seconds ago. Hopefully we're back to sort of a balanced state here. Anyway, if those are the reasons that you like this knife and that you want it, then the video is really over for you, because you're willing to sacrifice a certain amount of utility, a certain amount of practicality for those other features that you really like. However, when I stack this up against something like my Recon 1, I'm gonna just grab a couple of examples of sort of harder use tactical style folders. Crooked River, even my 0308. Okay, let's quickly grab that 2x4 back here and just switch out the knife we're using. That Crooked River bites a little bit easier. It's a little more comfortable to get in my hand. I suspect we're going to see something similar with the zero tolerance. And yeah, we are. Okay, so just because the orientation of the blade to my hand, the belly allows me to get a little bit of a softer approach. Even the Recon 1, famously great ergonomics here. So, for average EDC type cutting tasks, can I open a package with these knives as easily? Pretty well I can. And in fact, other than the fact that I'm reaching out a tripod and therefore have no hand-eye coordination, there we go, I'm going to cheat on that one. You can see that your average, tactical folder, drop point style knife, and all of these, I would be a little more comfortable if I was hiking in the woods, right? Would I want this or these? If I was even in a defensive situation. Now I have to say this. I've been watching lately, there's never anything good on. So I've been watching the show Something Bit Me, and it's all about animal attacks. And I can't tell you how many of the people that I've seen on that show are hiking and biking and doing all kinds of stuff in the outdoors where they know there's the potential for problems to arise. Okay. And this is a little bit of a rant, okay? But these people get attacked by bears, they get attacked by mountain lions, alligators, all kinds of other things. Now, a knife is not always going to help you, but let me tell you, if I'm hiking in the woods and I'm being approached by a wild animal, would I rather have, my balled up fist or that same balled up fist with a 4-inch blade sticking out of it? Well, the fact is, I would take the blade every day of the week. You know, there, why anyone is going into the territory of dangerous animals without the capacity to defend yourself from those animals. And by the way, a knife is not the best option for that. Really, if you're in bear country and you're spending considerable time there camping or whatever. Now, I will say the one caveat is if you're mountain biking, which is what a couple of these people were doing, and I mountain bike a lot. It's not practical to carry a firearm while mountain biking for most people. I guess maybe, in Canada, pistols are all but illegal to use for anything outside of a shooting range. If you're in the US, yeah, carry a pistol, carry a large caliber pistol to deal with dangerous game. In Canada, biking would be a little bit of a different story. But if you're camping or hiking, even hunting small game, I'm going to have the option, if I'm hunting squirrels, I'm going to have some larger caliber ammo with me so that I can switch to something that can dispatch a bear if I need to. All right, rant done. If you're watching this video and you're hiking and swimming and fishing and doing other stuff without having any means to defend yourself against an animal attack, please don't do that. Okay, if you get killed, you kind of had it coming because you knew it could happen and you didn't appropriately prepare for it. Now, that's my rant. Back to the discussion in question. The problem that I see most obviously arriving from karambits, and the reason that you don't see a lot of them on this channel, is because they're not as capable as your typical drop point folder for EDC type tasks, opening packages, carving wood, cutting cardboard, whatever else you may have to do. Okay. But also, unless you're trained with it, most average people are going to be better off if they're attacked by, that cougar that I saw on the show I was watching. They're going to be better off with this because they can just do this. All right. If you notice with a karambit, if you try to just stab, unless you kind of know what to do with this style of blade, it's not going to be as practical. Okay. So conclusions. I think this is a really, really cool knife. And it's certainly capable of doing those, kind of average light use EDC tasks. It can open packages, it can cut cardboard, it can carve wood. It's quite good with bubble wrap, with blister packs, where the plastic is over. This opens blister packs like nobody's business. Okay, so it does have those utility aspects to it. All right. However, for the majority of people, the majority of the time, right, a typical, hard use folder is going to service the average person better. All right. Am I glad Lionsteel made this? Absolutely, I am. Have I enjoyed spending time with it and getting to know it and carrying it? Yes, without a doubt. It's a really, really cool knife. However, if given the option between this and some of the other knives that I've shown you over the last couple of minutes, which am I going to pick 90% of the time? Yeah, I'm going to pick your standard draw point most of the time. Okay, now, again, I'm not trained in the use of a karambit. So if I was, and I knew exactly what kind of motions and I was spending hours every day practicing, sure, then I would go to the tool that I've been trained to use most effectively. But that's not the case for me. And it's not the case for a lot of people who carry a karambit. Okay. So there you go. Those are my conclusions on the Lionsteel. Yeah, if you want to carry it and have it as your one knife, it can do a lot of those EDC jobs. Like you can get by for sure. However, if you're looking for that one knife that's going to really excel and be the one thing you're going to have in your pocket all the time, a karambit is probably not the best option unless you're well trained with one. So there you go. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out White Mountain Knives. Use my discount code SHARPSTUFF over there and save yourself 10% off. Again, I'll thank you for watching, and we will talk to you soon.